This video is how you should store and organize your emergency preparedness supplies and gear. I think you will find this video helpful whether you have a single bag 72-hour kit or two barns full of emergency preparedness supplies and gear. Now, the first step I want you to do is consider having the priority items, frequently used items, or those needed for immediate emergencies should be easily accessible. This could be a separate bag or it could be a plastic tote. Now, there's 7 key bags that I would suggest and then some plastic totes for your priority items. Number 1 is a prescription bag. So in this bag, you're going to have all of your prescription medications and any over-the-counter medications that you take. Now, if you don't have any such medications, well, good for you. Live a long and prosperous life. Number 2 is to have a document bag. Now, what the type of items you would include in here is your passports, if you have them, titles to cars, cherished family photos, your military discharge papers, the DD-214. So have those in a document bag. Number 3 is a medical bag. So this is a bag that I include my first line medical supplies and equipment. Number 4 is everyday carry bag. Now, I carry so much stuff in my EDC, if I put it in my pockets, my pants would fall down. So yes, I have a separate bag for it. Number 5, have your cowboy bag ready to go. What is a cowboy bag? Well, I consider it to be a Remington carbine and 2 Navy Colt pistols and the ammunition that goes along with it. Now, in reality, that would be more state-of-the-art carbine and pistols. Number 6 is your go home bag, or get out of Dodge bag. That's what I include in the trunk of my car. Number 7, you want to have certain electronic equipment that you would take with you. I'm illustrating here 2 ammo boxes with each one having a Bofang ham radio. And then I have 5 intermediate size plastic totes. And they're denoted to me, I've color coded them in that the lids are always yellow. And so within those 5 plastic tubs is food, first aid equipment, fire starting equipment, water filtration, just the sort of things you would think you would need in an emergency. So that's the first 7 bags that you should consider to have ready to go. And then the second layer of 5 plastic totes. So whether you bug in or bug out, those are your primary items. Next, I'd like to consider some tech tips for storage. Number 1 is don't store your batteries with the electronic device. If the battery goes bad, then you have battery acid all over the device's terminals. It maybe even gets into the device, and you can ruin an electronic device. So store the batteries separate from the electronic device. I usually just put the batteries in a little plastic sandwich bag and store it with the same compartment, same container, ammo box, or pack as I have the electronic equipment in. 2 is don't have it so that 9-volt batteries touch each other, or even a single battery touch a paper clip or a tin foil, because you can start a fire. Number 3, the best way to store batteries is in a battery organizer. You can find them on Amazon for $25 to $30. 4 is make sure your electronic devices are protected from an EMP event, electromagnetic pulse. You can do this by putting them in like an ammo can, a Faraday bag that you buy from Amazon. One of the containers I have is simply, I call it a miniature trash can, which it's never been used as a trash can, but it's about a fourth the size of a full size metal trash can. I've lined it with cardboard and I put electronic devices in there, oftentimes double protection with being in a Faraday bag. Number 5 is with some large items, you'll want to just store it in the original packing. So, for example, a Mr. Heater Buddy. The company has gone to great lengths with the container to have it, scream with glossy pictures that it's a Mr. Heater Buddy heater, so it's easy to identify. Also, quality companies spend a great deal of effort and time on how they package goods because they want it to arrive to the customer's location working and not dead on arrival. In other words, it doesn't work. And that always ends up in costing them the profit margin and then some. Next is with like food cases, a classic case being number 6 cans. There's 6 of them in a case, and the cardboard case is the easiest way to store them. You can lift up the case and move 6 cans at a time. Now, on that cardboard case for the food, mark when you purchased the goods and also what the contents of the case are. And then when you stack those cases, stack them in a manner where you can see the label. Take an inventory of all of your emergency preparedness supplies and gear and write it down on a piece of paper so that later you can turn that into a spreadsheet format and have a manifest of what items you have and where they're stored. Also, take an inventory of what possible storage compartments you have. Now, the best space is at room temperature. A second best is like in an attic that's during the summer has a reasonable temperature, not like in Florida where some of the attics are hotter than Valhalla. But if you have an attic and live in a part of the country where it's reasonable temperatures in the summer, you can store things in your attic. Classic examples that I would use is I have some PVC pipe that I could make a range catchment system, and I just keep PVC pipe in the attic. Another example is I have a wood-fired stove and I have extra piping that I could change the chimney configuration. Now, you will also want to look for spaces like under the stairs, under beds. These can all be avenues of where you could store items. Also, as you inventory your items, you want to break them up into, I would suggest, 12 categories. 1 being shelter and clothing, 2 is water, 3 is food, 4 is energy, 6 is security and defense, 6 is first aid and medical, 7 is hygiene and sanitation, 8 is communications and information gathering devices like an AM, FM, shortwave radio. Number 9 is transportation, 10 is tools, 11 is a reference library, and 12 is entertainment. With some people who are into emergency preparedness would think having modules that's recreation seems a little bit odd. But just imagine yourself at your bug out location with small children or small grandchildren. Yes, you will want something to keep them entertained. Let's consider storage strategies. 1 is maximize space. Utilize vertical space with shelves and stackable bins, under bed storage. Use durable containers. Invest in sturdy, sealable containers to protect your supplies from dust, moist, and pests. Consider airtight containers for food and water storage. Labeling is key. Clearly label all bins, and you might want to consider color coding. One approach that I've used is there's little stickers that you use for garage sales that you stick on your different products. And when I saw my wife utilizing those, I realized I could use the red ones for my priority A's, the yellow ones for priority B, and green ones for priority C, or whatever color you prefer. But it allows you to quickly look at your inventory and realize what's the most important items. Remember, first in, first out, FIFO for food and medical supplies. With FIFO, first in, first out, place newer items behind older ones to ensure you use them before they expire. A classic example of this is these gravity feed can racks where you put your new purchases in the back of the stack, and the first one in will be the first one out. Do regular inventory checks. Schedule regular inventory inspections of your preparedness supplies and gear at least every 6 months, and check for damage, expiration dates, and replace or rotate items as needed. And then finally, on a regular basis, test your gear. So get out that gas generator, get out the propane generator, get out the solar generator, and make sure they're all working. Now, I don't do that in one day. I will, matter of fact, over a couple months, all the key items will be tested at least once a year. But I'll just do maybe an hour or two each day over multiple weeks. And hopefully this information you will find beneficial. If so, please click like and subscribe. It will help the channel and it will help the community. Be prepared.